So a very warm welcome to Sam from Chester Beer and Wine, who many of our members stepped up over the last 18 months to keep people mentally in the right zone, give them a sense of optimism and what could they achieve through the craziness of the last, well, no, it's 20 months now, is it? Who knows? But Sam was there to do virtual online wine tastings, which brought much frolicking and fun and sore heads through lockdown. So it's lovely to welcome Sam to her spotlight today, and to tell us a little bit more about the business and how we at the network can help. So Sam, you're in your new tasting space, I understand. So tell us about that, first of all.
Yes, very exciting. So we've always done tastings. We've been established since 2005, so we've been doing tastings for a long time. And it was mostly in our retail space when we were in Hull. So chairs and things all had to be kind of put out and put away that night. Then 3 years ago, almost to the day actually, we've just had our 3-year anniversary of our Tunbridge. I know, it's all milestones. And we were very lucky to have an upstairs room where we could do tastings away from the retail space, which was fabulous. But then during lockdown, the whole business pivoted. So no tastings. We were allowed to stay open because we're essential.
Of course.
But the business pretty much turned on home delivery. So internet orders and phone orders were pretty much all we fielded all the time. And as a consequence, our lovely tasting room became a storage room because we were sending so much stuff out. And we were doing quite a few corporate orders actually. So companies whose staff were working from home, they wanted to send out care packages to them. So, you know, at one point we had 200 boxes of wine and snacks that we were packaging up to send kind of locally and around the country. So when tastings restarted, we were kind of faced with, we don't really have a tasting space anymore. And then luckily our neighbour who has the building next door, he was subletting his upstairs room to a solicitor who decided to move out. So we've now taken on this space. So it's a fantastic thing. It's it's a really nice space. We've used it a couple of times already, and I'm trying not to make it a packaging room again for Christmas.
Although I think it is at the moment, is it not? Come on, let's flash us round. Let's have a look. See.
So one of our customers who's got really organised for Christmas. So he's, hang on, need to pivot the right way. So there's a couple of hampers. And then there's one of our tables covered in beautifully identical gift hampers.
Lovely.
Yeah, and down here we've got one of our beer advent calendars. How do I get
wow. Yep, very good.
Yeah. Okay, so 24 hand-picked beers. So here's the rest of our
can people order those on the website, or are they bespoke orders that they need to come and have a chat with you in the store about?
Either or. They can come in and chat or phone, but if you order online, there is a field where you can sort of specify that you want all IPAs or
okay.
All Christmas.
So it's not your choice. People can do an advent calendar of their own, can they?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's tailored. So it's not just whatever you get given.
Very good.
Make sure that the recipient really enjoys what they're getting. So,
excellent.
Yes. Tailoring and bespoke is name of the game for us. So lovely. Shall I take you around the rest of the?
Yes, why not? It's good. We like this.
So here's our old tasting room, which is now
still storage and packing room. Very good.
So yes, and a friend of mine who volunteers for the British Legion. So we have their boxes here for storage. We have office. Don't look on the desk; it's the right mess. Here we have Kira.
Hello.
Hi. Kira's my niece. She's just started working for us, and she's busy working on some invoices.
Excellent.
And then Now this is Dave's inner sanctum, and we're not often allowed in here. Because we might make a mess.
Oh, it's just starting to lose the signal there a bit.
Really?
Oh, there we go. Okay. So that's his beer cave then.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Dave. Yeah. So that's where he hides when he wants to get away from all us women.
And how many beers do you stock? Remind me.
400, about 400 at any one time. 550, Dave's telling me now. Because
oh, right, okay, 550.
Just stolen one of the shelving units upstairs to put our Christmas beer range in.
Excellent.
So fabulous. Here's the rest of Dave's beer section.
So people must come in and be overwhelmed, but Dave's on hand to sort of guide and suggest, presumably.
Yeah, often. So a lot of our regulars, when they first come in, they usually get to this point and just be a bit like, and then after a few weeks, Dave will come bounding down the stairs and go, "I've got a new one for you." And because Dave knows them so well, and they're like, "Oh, you know me." And I'm pretty much the same with the wine side.
With the wine.
Yes. Now I'll take you briefly into the wine storage area, but it's like a nuclear bunker in here, and we'll definitely lose signal. So this is
proper wine cave.
Well.
Yep. Come out, Sam. We've lost you. Come out the bunker.
To get ramped up for Christmas. Oh, there we go. Lost you. You're frozen. Yeah. Back again. Back in the room.
She's back in the room.
And then here we are in my section, the wine.
The lovely wine section.
Yeah.
So how do you go about, what does a wine or a beer need to have to make the cut, to make it into Chester Beer and Wine then, Sam?
It's kind of the best example of what it is. So I don't box tick. I won't take something just because it's a Terrain Sauvignon or it's a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. So I go to trade tastings, or reps will come to see me, or they'll send me samples, and then we try them. I've got a couple of wine groups we meet once a month, so I'll test stuff out on them as well.
Oh, that's good.
And so I might have, if I go to a trade tasting, I might think, well, I've got a gap for an Australian Cabernet Sauvignon, so I might try all the Cabernet Sauvignons that they've got and then just pick the best one. So it's best value for money. It's the flavour profile. Does it have the right balance of fruit and acidity and tannins? Does it have a nice long finish? You're kind of looking at all sorts. And also you have to think, it's not my cup of tea, but is it a good example of what it is?
Mm-hmm.
And so we did a wine tasting last night with one of my wine groups, and I showed a white Bordeaux, which is Sauvignon Blanc and a grape called Semillon, and I thought it was an absolute cracker wine. Cal thought it was a cracking wine, and half of the wine group thought it was a cracking wine, and the rest absolutely hated it.
Oh, wow.
So it was a kind of, yeah, it's okay. It was like, no, really don't like that at all. So it's not just about getting the right wine on the shelf, it's matching the right wine with the person. So when people come to me, we usually start with a very vague kind of, oh, I don't know. I like it when it goes, and I don't like it when it goes, I kind of know what they mean. So, so I'll recommend a couple of things and it'll be really safe territory.
Mm-hmm.
And as I get to know the person, I'll be able to kind of recommend more stuff and they get more confidence in me. And then eventually it gets to the stage where you choose, what I like. So we'll put cases of wine together for people. So yeah, it's just like you, Tracy, it's building relationships, building trust and building confidence.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for 16 years. So yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing and we know our customers, and going the extra mile. So yeah, kind of it.
So what got you into this then, Sam?
Well, it was a bit of a a sort of series of leaps of faith. Like many people, I did a degree and really didn't enjoy it. I did a law degree, and also found out I really wasn't qualified for anything. So I did a few kind of office jobs that were a bit soulless. And then the boyfriend I had at the time was doing some work for a chap. It was actually the chap that set up Moneypenny. And the boyfriend at the time, Rob Meakin from Pro Networks. So he was working for Ed, setting up Moneypenny, and Ed was selling his little sign company that he'd set up to fund Moneypenny. So I bought the sign company. I think, oh, how hard can that be? It's quite hard, as it turned out. But I did that for 5 years, and I realised I really like working for myself, but I didn't particularly like putting vinyls on a van in the middle of Wales in 5 degrees. So the next boyfriend I had at the time, he was visiting a mate of his who'd got a wine shop on the Wirral, and he just found out, what about a wine shop? And it was just one of those light bulb moments. It was just like, oh my God. And I thought I was, but I was no expert at all. But it just sounded like, yeah, that's the answer to my prayers.
Yeah.
And my mum had died a few months earlier. So it was one of those kind of life assessing moments where, I really want to kind of change things. So I used the money that I inherited from her. The unit came up in Hull, came available in Hull. So I put the money that I inherited from Mum, I sold Art Graphics, and I remortgaged my flat, which I'd only just bought. And and I put the whole lot into setting up the shop. And so it really was a leap of faith. Hi Rob, you all right? Yeah, I'll get the down for you now. Oh, Dave. Yes. I did my wine courses, and lots of studying and lots of talking to reps and making notes whenever they did tastings, and I'm the fully fledged expert, you see now.
Brilliant. So we know as a network that I remember that day when you came in and were like, oh my God, we've been given notice, we've got to get out. And the network stepped up and helped, that transition into Hambridge now.
It was
So
amazing. Yeah,
looking back over those sort of 3 years, given what you've also had to, you were just getting established and a foothold in Hambridge, and then we know what happened. So how have, obviously doing online and still being considered essential was a godsend in some ways, but how did you find that transition moving from one almost village-like environment to Hambridge, which is in the centre of Chester for a non-Chester person, but actually, you've got to cross that bridge, so it's not really in Chester.
It is and it isn't. It's quite similar to Hull in that the residents are very protective over their community. They're all very proud of living in Hambridge, as Hull people are living in Hull, and there is a real sense of community. So in that regard, when we moved, Hambridge was our first choice. It was very tough to start with because there is a very, it's like the great divide. Who people don't often come over to Hambridge, and a lot of people are, well, good luck, we'll never see you again. And that's too well, right? Yeah, but so we were really starting from scratch. So that it was tough. And we were quite reliant on tastings and just building that new community. But lockdown was it was really quite an extraordinary time, because it was only me and Dave, and it was just, lockdown had just been announced, and we got the shutters kind of just up a little bit on the door, because we were thinking, well, with food, we're in the food category, so we should be allowed to open, but just in case. And we were having this debate, and then we heard the announcement that off licenses were essential. And I remember getting the message from you. That was it, shutters were up. And my laptop pings whenever an email comes in, just a little ping, and it just went bonkers. It was bing, 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 bing. And then the phone was going, and then we were just in just complete, oh. But it was actually surprisingly easy to transition. A friend of mine, he wandered in, he'd just been stepped down from his job. And because he was self-employed and he just fell through all the cracks. So he was entitled to nothing. He was renting out a property which his tenant had just done a runner on, and he was just in a bit of a pickle. And but he's never down. He's always really positive. And and he just came in for a bottle of wine to console himself. And that was it. The next day he started delivering for me, and he was just delivering full time for the next few months till he set up a gardening business on the back of that. And now he's incredibly successful doing that. So I think because we're small and because I've got a lot of really good contacts, it was actually quite easy to pivot. So so we use Claire to do some Facebook advertising and promoting. The guys who do my website, they actually recently, he phoned up and he went, your website. So it was a real like Star Trek moment. She kind of take it. So we had a new website built. Having the network there was just really invaluable. From the day we knew we were having to leave to now. It's been great going back to the meetings. I've really enjoyed it, and I've given some really good business just in the last few months.
Good. So tell us then, we need to know what we should be drinking. So people should be already, I'm sure, thinking about Christmas. So we know that you can provide corporate gifts, you can provide special gifts. If you know not what to buy someone because they already have something, you will have the perfect bottle for them. So give us a little bit of a tour as to what you can do, and maybe tell us about some of your most favourite wines and tipples and what we should be drinking for Christmas.
Well, I know. Well, yeah. So here's the tasting booklet from our walk round.
Oh, very good.
So so there are a few in here. So we're doing a little Black Friday special with Claire again. So we've got a South African Sauvignon Blanc and Syrah, and we're doing a little half case, so 3 bottles of each, and that's £51 down to £41. So that's less than £7 a bottle. So that's my kind of super duper bargain. We've got a gorgeous champagne Gremillet, which is on offer £28.25 down to £25.25. That's fabulous. If you're looking for something a bit special, then come and talk to me, because if you're looking to spend kind of 20-30 plus, you won't necessarily enjoy that wine. So a Bordeaux drinker might not like a Burgundy, might not like a Barolo, might not like a Rioja Grand Reserva. They're quite specialist. The more expensive you go, the specialist they are. So, but if you're going to spend that kind of money, you want to make sure you get the right thing. So yeah, come and talk to me for that. Fizz-wise, we've got some cracking ones. So I showed to my wine group last night, I showed one which is a Blanquette de Limoux. So it's a sparkling wine from the south of France, from the Limoux region, and it's made from a grape called Morzac. So it's made in the same way as champagne, traditional method, but it's a different type of grape, and it's called Blanquette because the Morzac grape has a kind of white bloom on it. So it's kind of blanketed, so it gives the name Blanquette de Limoux. And that's lovely. So we showed that last night, and that's on offer £13 down from £15.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's lovely. It's just fresh and appley and fruity, and just a real crowd pleaser. So if you want to, you know, entertain and not break the bank, that's a real cracker of a champers. My personal taste for white is a nice buttery Chardonnay, but I appreciate that's not everybody's cup of tea. But a really good all-rounder, I don't think you can beat a Chenin. So we've got Cape Height Chenin at £8 a bottle, and we sell so much of that for functions and things because it's just, it's just a really good everyday drinking wine. And if you buy 12 bottles, you get 10% discount as well. So that's
even better.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason for anyone to ever buy any old wine from any of the supermarkets. They need to come and see you.
Yes, absolutely. And we also do class hire. So if you're having a party and you need a tray of flutes, wine glasses, highballs, pints, then we can supply those as well. So that was the one thing we really noticed since everything opened up. Suddenly people were having parties, and the glasses that had been kind of sitting there for 2 years untouched, we suddenly had to get them all out and put them through the dishwasher and get them all sparkly, and we've actually just replaced them all now. So we've got fresh glasses ready for Christmas.
Very good.
And that's free, so it's £5 a dozen if you just want the glasses, but it's free if you buy the wine from us. So
excellent.
anything as well.
And tell me, you've also launched a wine club or Savers Club?
Saver Club, yes. Wouldn't it be perfect if I had a flyer to hand? Do
you want to go and grab one?
We got one up here. I don't know. I think they might all be downstairs. Dave's on the case.
Excellent. And you should bring them to the events.
I know. You'd think, wouldn't you? They all go in the delivery boxes. So we are sort of on the case there. But so it's essentially it's like Naked Wines, Wine Society, all of the Laithwaites, those sorts of things. But we're local and independent, and it's not just wine, it's all of our spirits, all of our beers as well, all mixed cases. So for every £1 you put in, we add 5%. And I think 5% saving is actually probably better than any of the banks can offer at the moment. So we're promoting it at the moment for kind of Christmas club, so saving for Christmas. Or you could buy one as a gift for somebody, so you could set them up with kind of £50 starter. I remember when I was a kid, I got it was like £1 in a mid-shies account. With a little money box. This is much more fun than that.
Yeah, much more fun.
Yeah, there's my
fabulous.
There it is.
Bring them to lunch.
Designed by Claire Morehouse, lovely Claire. So yeah, I think we've really kind of got everything for anybody now. We've worked really hard the last couple of years. We've worked really hard to establish ourselves here in Hambridge. We've got loads of lovely customers and contacts, and hopefully we'll carry on growing.
And so in the same way you run your wine club, for those beer drinkers or people that prefer a different tipple, are there other opportunities for them to just come and learn or see what's new in Dave's beer world?
Yeah, so Dave is hosting beer club tomorrow night, actually, 7 till 9. So those events are on the website, you can book on. So Dave essentially has I can't see it, he's got like a secret box which will go in the fridge, and it will be opened when everybody's there, and then we just see what's inside and just try what's inside.
Very good.
So yes, people can pick Dave's brains for his beer knowledge, but Dave doesn't know what it's in either. It's a surprise box from one of our suppliers.
Brilliant.
A surprise box, and then see what's in it. But obviously Dave, he can explain different styles and things. But yeah, it's all very friendly. Again, it's we all sort of chat together. There's some nibbles on the go as well. £15 a head, so bargain.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So how can the network best help you then?
So I suppose the obvious thing is to buy their wine for home consumption from me. So either join the Saver Club or subscribe to one of our mixed cases. We do half cases from £45 up to full cases for 120. If they've got a party, they can come to us for bulk wine and get a discount on that. If they're in the market for corporate gifts for their customers or their staff, we do quite a lot of that. We're lucky enough to be doing the Christmas order for Oliver & Co again.
Very good.
This year. So we've just had the list through, so we'll be sorting through that. If you want to have a private wine tasting or private gin tasting or beer tasting, obviously you've seen the tasting room, so we can host up to 24 people in there for corporate entertainment as well. We can do that. And finally, I do fundraiser tastings. So I've done recently, I did one for Space, which is for children with global development issues, and I've done a gin tasting for Hospice of the Good Shepherd. So yeah, if you want to raise money for your charity, then I can do that for you as well.
And the tastings that you do, be it fundraising or corporate, is that just at Chester Beer and Wine, or can you also go to there if they have a big area? You can go there and do it on site for them as well, presumably.
We can go on site as well. Yeah, that's no problem at all. So we just need to have a temporary event notice at 10 if the premises aren't licensed. But yeah, we can go to business premises, village halls, yeah, you name it. Vicarscroft Golf Club, we did a tasting there. Yeah, all sorts, and in people's houses as well. So yeah, we've done a few private tastings in people's gardens again for celebrations and things. So
so basically, anytime, any place, anywhere, you can sort people out. Glasses and fizz and whatever.
That could be misinterpreted, but yeah.
So Sam, last question. What question have I not asked that I probably should have asked that people need to know about?
I suppose, well, I suppose actually things like when people ask me, why don't you stock Gordon's gin, or why don't you stock Yellowtail?
Why would you?
Well,
you've got that lovely Icelandic gin. Don't buy Gordon's.
The issue and things like that, it's as soon as something goes into the multiples, you've got a multi-billion-pound global empire, and they've kind of got a bit more purchasing power than one tiny little independent corner shop. So you know, I'm not saying that any product in a supermarket is bad. Far from it. A lot of products have been launched in independents and then gone on to be rolled out in the supermarkets after, not that I'm bitter, but after we've done all the hard work.
Yeah, I would be bitter.
Yeah. But it's really, there's no point selling those products because there's no way we can compete on price. And if people see, oh yeah, there's Gordon's gin, bloody hell, that's a lot more expensive than I can get it in the supermarket. So the perception is that everything we sell is expensive, and that's not the case at all. We go for small, independent, sustainable. You know, the importers work hand in hand with the producers, so it's also a lot more sustainable. Nobody's being abused, nobody's you know, nobody's being paid a poor wage. You know, it's a much more ethically sound way to buy wine as well. When something's suspiciously cheap in a supermarket, I always wonder who's paying the real price.
Yeah, completely agree. And that's what we try always in the network to encourage people to do, to who needs global when we can be local? So I know, I might steal that from myself. That was quite good. Yeah, quite impressed. Who needs global when you can go local? I like it. I'm going to use that. So yes. So Christmas shopping, Christmas presents, corporate gifts, and events, anything you like, go to Sam, basically.
cram a lot into our little shop.
You do. Last, what's the last opening for Christmas then? When, if people, there will be people sat here going, "Oh my God, it's only the middle of November. Why are they talking about Christmas?" Or they may be watching this in January and going, "Why are they talking about Christmas?" So,
well, the thing is availability. So the closer it gets to Christmas, so most of us little independents will do all our Christmas shopping. Well, the theory is you always try and do it by the end of November, and then you run the stocks down to Christmas. So at this time of year, people come in and go, "Now I want this very specific product, and it has to be this, and it has to be that, and oh, I'll leave it then if you haven't got that." And the closer you get to Christmas Eve, and then you get to Christmas Eve, it's like anything. So yeah, if you want that very specific thing, the earlier you start shopping for it, the better. The closer it gets to Christmas, we'll have something, but it might not be exactly the same product that you want, but we'll have an alternative. But yeah, it's like anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you leave it to the last minute. But we will be closing at 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve, which I think is a Saturday, isn't it? And then we close for 3 or 4 days, and then we're back open till New Year.
Ready for New Year.
A few days again.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So we tend to take a few days off at Christmas because it is frankly completely frantic. Which is how we like it. Yeah.
Very good. All right then, my lovely. That's been amazing. Brilliant to see the interior and your amazing new space. As we wrap up the video, we'll make sure that we pop all the details on of how people can get in touch with you. If you've got a PDF, you can send me of your Wine Saver Club. Let me have that, and we can pop that on the members app as well. And thank you very much, Sam.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Oh, always a pleasure.
Very good.
See you soon.